What's good, my lovely peoples? It's your main man Solace here, the humble servant of the life. Today I want to do this very important video called What is Race? Now there's a lot of confusion around race. And the reason why is because we go by nationality, which is nation or land. And this is why black people's nationality is a color, because they have no land. But none of this matters, because going by nationality is incorrect. If you go by nationality, you'll be completely confused. Nations change. Lands change. It's like Puerto Rico. That is not of old. That is something new. The people of the past didn't call that land Puerto Rico. That land was taken hold of, and it was called Puerto Rico. And the people of it called themselves Puerto Rican. But that has nothing to do with race. And this is why when people look for their ancestry, they tend to go nowhere. They be something they didn't expect to be. And this is because we don't understand race. Now grasp this. There's only 3 races of mankind. Only 3. Negroid, Asiatic, and Caucasian. Now grasp this, because skin color doesn't matter. From albino to black skin color, you will have that in all 3. What determines the race is the features. So Negroids have a certain feature. Caucasians have certain features. Asiatics have certain features. And the mixing and mingling of these 3 is how you got all the different diverse looks, shades of color, and nationalities that we have today, from the mixing and mingling of those 3. But we truly are all just one of those 3, or a certain mixing and mingling of the 3. So there is no pure race as of now. Everyone is just searching for certain nations and land to claim as their ancestry, but ancestry has nothing to do with nationality or land. Now, let me break down the mixing of the 3, because that's how you got nationality and all the things that you see today, which leads to the confusion. Now, the different mixtures of the 3. You got Negroid, Caucasian, and Asiatic. So now let's say a dark-skinned Asiatic mixed with a light-skinned Caucasian. You get a completely different look from those 2. Now let's say you did the reverse. In a light-skinned Asiatic and a dark-skinned Caucasian made it. You get a completely different look. Just from mixing and mingling those 2 races, you could get a whole variety of looks. So imagine what you get with 3. So it's a deep but simple thing. Now let me help y'all to understand this from the beginnings. In the beginnings, the life emerged from the waters. Albino, white, because there's no sunlight in the waters. But that is not to say they were white people, because that is just color talk. Albinos come in the 3 races. They even come in every race we have now, or nationality we have now. So you have to understand. The life emerged from the waters, albino, but it was the 3 races. Negroid, Caucasian, and Asiatic. Just white in color from lack of sun, from being in the waters. Now, over course of time, from getting sun exposure, depending on the climate or whatever, you get sun color. You get skin color over course of generations, though. So that first race that emerged from the waters that were albino, they would have died white. But their kids would have been a little darker, a little more adaptable to the sunlight. And over generation and generation, they'd be colored more and more and more, depending on climate and area. You get more darker, more lighter from the albino. So it's a simple but deep thing. Now the Negroids, their features would be coarse hair, wide nostrils, flat, wide nose bridge, big lips, wide jaw, like the Olmecs. Now the Caucasian features would be small nostrils, slim lips, like mine, slim jaw, sort of like mine, an exposed nose bone, not like mine, like more popped out. So the nose bridge would be more popped out, but slimming, but popped out, as opposed to flat and wide. Now the Asiatics would have slits for eyes, pencil thin lips, pencil line thin lips, almost invisible. The nostrils would be small, and basically you wouldn't see the nose bridge. So they would almost look like snakes. This is why in ancient texts it would say in certain places, oh, the people that they saw had the visage of a cobra, or the visage of a cobra. It's talking about Asiatic people and the way they looked, the slitted eyes. Now, once you get the mingling and the mixing of these three, over millions, well over thousands and thousands of years, just mixing and mixing and mingling, you get all the different races and nationalities and different diverse looks you see now from those three, over generations and generations of mixing. Because race has to do with features, not skin color. Skin color don't mean nothing, but how much sun you get or how much you lack. Your features determine your race, whether you come from Negroid or so on and so forth. So now, just from looking at my features, I have mainly Caucasian features. I have some Negroid features, and I have very little Asiatic features. So if I went back into my ancestry, it'll probably be mostly from Caucasian, slightly Negroid, and no Asiatic. But that's not to say I'm a black man or a white man, because you have them skin tones in every race of the three. It is just to say that I descend more from the Caucasian race. But that has nothing to do with white. So you have to grasp how deep that is. You have some people walking around and they descend from the Negroid race. This is why when they do their DNA background ancestry check, they be like, oh my God, I got black people in. And this is why when black people do, they be, oh my God, I got white people in. Has nothing to do with skin color. It is the features. Has nothing to do with the blood or none of this. The race has to do with the look and the features of the person. And this would determine their race. So all you have to do is know the features, look at yourself, and you know which race you mostly descend from. Some people are mostly Negroid, slightly Asiatic, no Caucasian. But it has nothing to do with their skin color. They could be white. They could be black. They could be Indian. It doesn't matter. You have all shades in Indians, from light to dark. You have all shades in what we call black people, from light to dark. You have all shades in all people. So you have to understand that. The only people you don't have shade in is what we call albinos. Because even white people, you have different shades. They don't get that dark in skin as far as brown go, but they get reddish, oranges. They have their different shades, depending on how the sun affects. So it's a simple but deep thing. But if you truly want to know your ancestry, it has to do with Negroid, Caucasian, or Asiatic. Now, if anyone wants to truly know any more on this, because I can only do but so much in the video, but if you want to dig deeper into understanding race and your ancestry, or anything that I may teach, you can inbox me, comment below. We can work out a one-on-one. I do one-on-ones. We'll work it out, and you can work out a weekly schedule where you start getting this knowledge on an in-depth level, because I can only go so deep in video. But you can do that. Get my books if you want, whatever the case may be. Do as you may. It's all on you. But get knowledge, therefore you can apply it to your life and bring some peace and humility to it. And through that, you'll get everything in the world that you want. It's a beautiful thing. Priorities. We tend to want to chase the wealth before we want to correct self. Correct self, then chase wealth. Makes it all the better. It's your main man, Solace.